Hi guys, it's Mrs. Bennett. I really miss everyone and hope you're all doing well. We missed our whole St. Patrick's Day parade, um, which is kind of sad, but there'll be other parades. And I have the book Leprechaun on the Loose. And this is by Marcia Thornton Jones, and it's illustrated by Sid Moore. And as I read this, you might be seeing some things that we did in our classroom to help us get ready for St. Patrick's Day. And we have a picture right here of this little leprechaun leaving little green footprints as he's walking along. A leprechaun was loose in the classroom, and Sydney was the only one who knew it. Sydney saw teeny tiny green footprints on the floor. He followed them to the table where Mrs. Yoder had cupcakes for their St. Patrick's Day party. Oh, don't those cupcakes look great? You see the little footprints right here. Sydney peeked inside the box. All the green icing had been licked off the cupcakes. Sydney set out to find that leprechaun. It was plain bad luck. When he stepped on his own shoelace, oop, whoosh, splat, Sydney fell right on the table. Sydney ruined our party snack, Della Puddington told everyone when Mrs. Yoder threw away the squished box. Whoa, I bet they weren't too happy to have all those cupcakes ruined. I didn't do it, Sydney said. It was the leprechaun. An itty-bitty hee-hee-hee came from behind the fish tank, but Sydney was the only one who heard it. Who do you think that little hee-hee-hee is from? During reading time, Sydney noticed something was wrong with the fish. He sneaked to the back of the room and looked into the tank. The leprechaun was swimming the backstroke, and the fish definitely were not happy. And look at all their decorations down here. They made shamrocks like we did. Sydney dove after the leprechaun. Plop, kerplunk, splush. Water soaked the table. And look at the little leprechaun. He's running away. Oh, and do you notice what happened to all their decorations? Sydney ruined our decorations, Della cried when Mrs. Yoder threw away the soggy paper shamrocks. I didn't do it, Sydney said. It was the leprechaun. Sydney was sure he heard a tiny little ha-ha-ha as he mopped up the mess. That leprechaun's causing a lot of trouble. During science class, Sydney heard a creak, creak, creak coming from the hamster's cage. Sydney tiptoed to the cage. He carefully opened the door and came face to face with the leprechaun. Look at him right in there. It looks like they have some juice here ready for their party. While Sydney and the leprechaun stared at each other, the hamster ran out the open door and across the table. Sydney dived after the hamster. You see how he's trying to get the hamster who's down on the floor way over here running away. Boom, bam, crash. Sydney fell against the table. Juice went everywhere just as the hamster scurried out of sight. Oh man, one more thing ruined for the party. Our juice is gone, Della said with a sniffle, and so are the decorations and all of our cupcakes. Sydney ruined our St. Patrick's Day party. Do you see the little guy here? A little leprechaun causing all that mischief. Sidney was sure he heard a faint tee from behind the stack of reading books. Nobody believed that Sidney didn't do it. There was only one thing for him to do. He had to catch that leprechaun. So here's Sidney. He's going to go back to school and see what's going on. At recess, Sidney sneaked past his teacher and ran to the art corner. Everything he needed was there. Sidney pounded and snapped and glued. Perfect, he said when he finished his leprechaun trap. Oh, that looks like quite a trap. It says, welcome, right over here. And then it says, back door release button over here. Then he hurried into the lunchroom and he looked through the lunch trays until he found a stinky tidbit of corned beef. So I guess he thinks that leprechauns like to eat corned beef. I know people eat corned beef on St. Patrick's Day. Oh, look at the rainbows. That's what we were trying to make, remember? Sidney carefully reached inside his leprechaun trap with the bait, and just then his foot knocked the stick that was holding up the back of the trap. Swish, clang, zing. Sidney was caught inside his own trap. And you see how he made a rainbow up here? He was trying to put things on that he thought the leprechaun would like. It says, tasty treats. And now he's stuck in his own trap. He heard the tippity-tap tip of itty-bitty boots. I do believe I've caught me a boy, that I have, said the leprechaun with a grin. Oh, look at him. This is kind of mixed up, isn't it? Isn't the leprechaun supposed to be in the trap, not Sidney? Let me out, Sidney begged. The tiny man scratched under his tall green hat. Now why should I be wanting to do a thing such as that? Sidney thought fast. Come closer and I'll tell you a secret, he said. Oh, secret. I love secrets, said the leprechaun. That's when Sidney made his move. He reached out and tickled the leprechaun right under his chin. Ha ha ha! Ho ho ho! Hee 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 hee! The leprechaun fell down and hit the trap door. The door flew open, so it looks like his foot. Sidney made him laugh so hard that his little foot hit the trap door release. So now Sidney can get out of the cage. Sidney rolled out and pushed the leprechaun inside. Swish, clang, zing. I've got you, Sidney yelled. Now I can prove that you ruined the party, not me. Remember, all the kids are feeling pretty unhappy because he's ruined all the different decorations and foods for their St. Patrick's Day party. I wonder what he's going to do. Party, said the little man. I'll make you a deal. So here he is stuck inside the trap. Let me go and I'll save the party. Then I'll be gone and you'll never see me again. How can a leprechaun save our party? Sidney asked. Oh, with me treasure, of course, said the leprechaun. Should he keep the leprechaun and prove he didn't ruin everything? Sidney wondered. Or should he let the leprechaun go home and save the party for all of his friends? What would you do? So he's trying to imagine what would be the best thing to do. Sidney was running out of time. His class was right outside the door. He had to decide. Quick, tell me where your treasure is, Sidney said. He leaned close, and the leprechaun whispered in his ear. Sidney knew a deal was a deal. He opened the trap door and watched the leprechaun climb out. The leprechaun turned one last time and tipped his hat to Sidney, and then the teeny tiny man slipped out the window and was gone. Sidney found the treasure right where the leprechaun said it would be. It was just what he needed to save the party. Do you see how there's juice and cookies and all kinds of the stuff that got ruined? I see balloons, cupcakes, balloons, juice boxes, all kinds of good stuff. The class cheered. Even Della Puddington smiled at Sidney, and Mrs. Yoder wasn't mad at him anymore, even if they didn't quite believe where Sidney got the party supplies from. I don't think they know quite what to believe, right? Look at the fun things they did with the balloons. Looks like they're having a great party. Sidney was finally able to forget all the trouble the leprechaun had caused. Then Sidney heard something terrible. "Excuse me, lad," said a tiny voice from behind Sidney's box of crayons. "I'm looking for me brother. Have you seen him anywhere?" Oh my gosh, do you see? Who do you think that guy is? The leprechaun's brother. I hope all that mischief doesn't start all over again. Well, it was great to read to you guys. I'll set it up on YouTube, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.